YouTube? Average Vapor Guy here today on my birthday of all days. Keegan Ovanek, how are you? Alright, before we get the video started today, I just wanted to point out one thing. Justin Miller viewed my Voltrove RTA review and actually made a very good point. Let's see. Okay, so he said it would be a good idea to start putting links in the description to where I get my equipment from. Absolutely, that's a good idea, and I am definitely going to start doing that. The only thing is, like, so for instance, today I'm reviewing a piece of equipment that I bought from a person. However, you can hit this person up on Facebook and find equipment through him. So I will just put his name in the description this time, and from now on, if I start getting stuff from a site, I will start putting a link. I will try and put a link directly to the product in the description. So thank you, Justin Miller. I appreciate that very much. I honestly wouldn't have even thought of that. So thanks, man. On to the video. Today I have something that I think is pretty darn cool. Alright. Today we are reviewing the Sherman RTA by Asylum Mods. Of course, I am going to bring it down to the build table and we're going to get a closer look at everything. I'm going to throw a build in here. But, yeah, just a quick look at the packaging. They do come in these nice little tubes. Oh, that lamp. Nice little tubes. They just open up like so. And then you got your stuff inside. So, yeah. Oh, another thing I wanted to point out. I have made some upgrades to my experience. I changed my curtain so it's not blinding you out of this side. And I also got a high-speed, super high-def, ultra. I bought a $25 lamp from Walmart. But, anyways, let's move down to the build table and get started on the Sherman V3 RTA. I'll explain more down there. Alright, guys, what is up? I am back with the Sherman RTA by Asylum Mods, as labeled on top of your packaging. I'm going to go ahead and just give you a quick look at the rest of the packaging. Pretty basic little tube. The only real identifier is this guy up here. Alright, so when you open the package, right, there's nothing in the top. Excuse me. So one thing, here's your RTA, and one thing I do want to point out, your RTA will not come out of the package like this if you buy it brand new. I have the tall kit in here. I'll show you what else it comes with, but this is what I have been using. This is the format I've been using for the past week and a half. You can see versus the V1 and V2 that it had, they added a nice crown insignia to both sides and the addition of a fourth air hole there. Alright, polished Ultem glass. The top cap here now says Asylum. Let's see if I can get some good light on that. Asylum Mods. There we go. Asylum Mods. Alright. Ultem drip tip. Pretty nice bore in there. Alright. And another feature that they added that I absolutely love is your airflow controlling ring actually locks now. Well, it doesn't lock, but it stops in one direction. So that is a really cool feature. I like that. And of course, I don't know if I already said it, but the 4 air holes. Alright, moving on. We have this is the drip tip that everyone knows the Sherman for. Your little space shuttle shaped drip tip, this time in Ultem versus Delrin, like the V2. Alright, that's pretty nice. If you like Ultem, which I happen to. Let's see what else we got in here. We have the Shorty Ultem section. Alright. Oh, we have the Shorty metal center with the little Asylum Mods mouse on there. Alright. And a sponge. Just kidding, don't use this as a sponge, I don't recommend it. And a bag of spares. In this bag of spares you have 2 clamp replacements here and here, 2 screws, and an assortment of O-rings to replace with. So once again, this is I think the 3rd one in a row that I've reviewed that they come with a complete screw and or whatever replacement, so that's pretty cool. Put all this stuff back. Once again, I'm not entirely positive on milliliter capacity for these guys in short and tall. I want to say tall is 4.5, maybe 5, and the short is 2.5. Sorry about that, but I'm not positive. So let's go ahead and strip this guy apart so I can show you the guts of it. So here, if you see, I just completely took off the top cap. Alright, so here is your tall section chimney, which does also have the Asylum Mods mouse on it. Your top section, which this is a top fill device, but your little top section actually unscrews from your top fill cap, then you have your actual top cap. So there's that. And this guy. And whichever chimney you use, it's just going to screw right into the bottom here. Right? So if I'm using the shorty, it's going to be the exact same thing, except you probably shouldn't throw it. But I mean, that, you know, that's you. Just like this, and that's how that goes in there. Now you're ready to put your Ultem, or if you have a glass section, on. Alright, we have the tall Ultem section. Alright, so that just is going to slip onto your chimney and top fill like such. Alright, and we have the important guy, the deck. Alright, so if I remember properly, this is a stainless steel deck. Okay, I'm actually going to turn my camera down a bit. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Stainless steel deck, clamp style. Right, one thing I'd like to point out, if you can see it, is that these little deck pieces are actually beveled in right here. Let's see if we can get some light to shine on there for you. Yeah, okay. See right there? And the reason behind that is when you put your wire in, it automatically wants to push this clamp up. What the hell's on the end of it? There we go. Boom. See, it just automatically wants to push the clamp up as soon as you put the wire in. So that's a cool little feature that I like. These 4 air holes come up into this monster right here, up into the chimney and out the top, and then you get delicious, delicious vape. Alright, you have your wick holes right here, 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 and here. Alright. So one thing I do want to point out right now, with this Sherman, less is more when it comes to wicking. Absolutely less is more. You don't want to put a ton of cotton in here because it's not going to wick properly. And of course I am going to show you that. Let's get building. I'm bringing out Old Faithful, my 1.5-year-old RX200. For this build, I do have to tell you, these are 24 core 38 gauge wrapped fused Claptons. Got a 1, 2, 3, 5 wrap at 3mm here. Alright. Now I did put these on and pre-fire them just so that when I was doing the video it might hurry things up a little bit. But knowing me, it's probably not going to make much of a difference. Now, you are going to need a flathead screwdriver. Alright. And so the screws just tighten up and down like so. Alright, and you can open them up pretty darn wide. But see what I was telling you about how those just kind of pop right up as soon as your wire goes in? Alright, we're going to put this guy in. Just like that. and tighten her down. Boom. Alright, now after you tighten one of your leads, these are going to be pretty darn secure. That's one thing I like about having a clamp style build deck. As you can see, I'm going to tighten down the second lead now. Show you guys what I mean. It just makes it really easy to get nice big beefy builds in here. Alright, that's all I need from that guy. Just going to straighten out my coil a little bit. Make sure they're even. And I personally like to keep my coils right above the air holes. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go. Right above the air holes. Obviously not touching, but just right above the air holes. Make sure these are even. I'm going to give them a quick little pulse. I'm going to pulse these guys at 60 watts. And this is 0.15 ohms after firing. 60 watts. Lighting up nice and even. Go ahead and cool them down. For these guys, I am going to run it at 90 watts. One thing I will say, the original Sherman V2, so I guess not the original, but the Sherman V2, my buddy keeps one on a LiPo box, a PWM LiPo box, and I've personally hit a Sherman at 170 watt or 153 watts, and the wicking was able to keep up. So, if you do your wicking right, it's going to be a good day. As usual, using some cotton bacon. This is some bacon bits. I got this in some bottle of juice, and I was like, whatever, I might as well use it in something. Wait for those to cool down. Alright, now that they are cool, I'm going to go ahead and try and wick this backwards. One thing you guys might notice, I actually have my camera coming in this way. A lot of guys have their camera here facing this way. For my desk setup, this just works better, so I hope you guys don't mind. Gonna pull out my cotton here. One thing I will say, if you are using cotton bacon, you probably are going to waste a lot of cotton with this guy, but I think it's worth it. So I'm just going to come in here, make sure it's relatively, damn it, tight in the coil. That's just fine. And I honestly only leave right to the outside edge of the airflow control ring for cotton. You guys might be like, dude, that's nothing, and you're right. That is very, 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 very little, but I promise you, that's all you need with this guy. Alright, turn it around. We're going to do the same thing. Just make sure I got a good portion in the coil there. Nice. Not too tight, but I want it relatively. Alrighty. Same thing. I'm just going to put my scissors on the airflow control ring. And snip. And come over to the other side and snip. Pull off all this excess stuff. Oy. There you have it. Boom. There we go. Okay. I think that was actually the last cotton. But yep. No more bacon bits. That's okay. Alright, so all you're gonna do, alright, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this, is literally just lightly tuck it in to this little hole, your little wick hole, and I mean, it is loose in there, and I know a lot of guys had leaking issues with the V2. I have not had any leaking issues wicking my Sherman this particular way. I actually think I have a little bit too much cotton on this side, so I'm going to comb it out. Well, pull some of it out, rather. Just go ahead and snip some off. Tiny, tiny amounts of cotton in this guy. And I'm not leaving the cotton tight at all in this guy. Leaving it very, very, very loose in these little pockets here. Alright, gonna do the other side. Very, 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 very loose. So, once again, too much, so I'm just gonna snip, snip, and comb it out a little bit. Pull that stuff off. Alright, and we're gonna go at it again. Like I said, the big thing with the Sherman is little but not too little, and there's absolutely a too much mark with this guy. So I'm going to come out this side too, just to be safe. And as long as your cotton's loose up in here, you should be just fine. Yeah, everything is nice and loose. And my wick holes. Hope you guys don't mind this red towel. There you go. Alright, and as you can see, I only have a tiny, that means tiny little bit in these little wick holes, and it's still actually loose in the top here. So let's grab some juice. Let's see. What do I want to vape today? Tell you what, I think I have enough Excision Paradox, which is a grapey, delicious something. I like to start my wicking by putting some in each of the holes and just make sure it's accepting juice. You know, juice isn't sitting there very long. And this, if you can tell, is just soaking this stuff right up, which is what we want. Drop, drop. Drop, drop. Oh yeah, this is going to be beautiful. Alright, so now that I know it's wicking in the sides, you know me, the long process of actually wicking my cotton. This is my happy time, when I just put juice on cotton, and everything goes quiet in the world. Unless I have music playing. Alright, let's see how she's firing. I do have the device at 90 watts. Awesome. And I know it doesn't look like much, but with that nice little reduction chamber, it hits gorgeously. Awesome. And it did soak up all that excess juice I had in my little holes there. So now all we're going to do is put our top on. And if you notice, I just leave my Ultim section attached to this whole top section with my chamber, so that when it's time to fill her up, I can just do this. One thing, when you are filling up the Sherman, it is a good recommendation to actually turn off your airflow. I notice that helps with the leaking a bit. And then you just fill her up. Like I said, I want to say like 4.5 mils of juice. I could be wrong. I'm waiting for that to go away. So that's what we're waiting on. And it's gone, and it's full. So sweet. Now, I'm actually sorry that my monitor is over here. So one thing, I like to open up my airflow at this point, and as I'm closing the lid, take hits as I twist it down. Because that helps as you screw this lid down. it actually forces the juice into your little wick holes on the side there. So, just something to think about. I'm leaking a bit. I'm going to clean this guy up. It should be done leaking now. If not, if you do get leaking, this is actually an old school Jenny trick I learned. I like to tilt it sideways. Take it. I don't know why. You guys may have your own leak stop tricks. That's what I do. Clean her all up. Alright, let's go back over to the monitor and talk more about this tank. Alright guys, I am back with my Sherman on my old faithful RX200. Let's take a few rips. That is a good flavor. If any of you are curious, this Paradox is by Excision base infused e-liquid. It's by 510 Labs. If you Google 510 Labs, they're out of Las Vegas, Nevada. They have a lot of really good juices. So I really like this one. It is a grape with dark citrus fruits and something else. I don't know. But it's good. Now, the Sherman is absolutely a flavor RTA. I'm not going to deny that at all. However, like I said, you can put a proper build in this thing and just, it chucks awesome clouds. And the flavor doesn't get muted at all or anything. It just works. The cost on these guys, this is a pretty spendy RTA. Average for RTAs, and by average I'm talking about the Azeroth, Griffin tanks, the Amit or the Amit dual, which I got one right over there. Those all run like 35 to 45 bucks. This one might take a bite out of your wallet. This guy averages 95 to 110 bucks, and they do keep the resale value, I've noticed. So if you do find one on one of your Facebook pages or online, whatever, it's probably still going to run you 90 to 100 bucks. In my opinion, it's worth it. This is actually the second Sherman I've bought. I had a V2. The wife has it, and she uses it now. So that's why I had to buy myself one, and then the V3 came out, and I was like, heck yes. Like I said, I'm a gunmetal guy. The V3, as far as I'm tracking, is only in gunmetal. Now, the tips. I like Ultem. However, you can go get a custom tip made, and it does still fit the just Sherman drip tip. I mean, any custom Sherman tip you find, it'll fit right in there. So, if you don't like Ultem, you can go get something custom made. I haven't seen any glass kits for these guys, but I mean, everything else besides the 4th air hole and that comes with a different drip tip is the same. So if you have a Sherman V1 or V2 glass and tip kit, it should fit. Excuse me, it should fit on this guy just fine. And I'm telling you, the flavor. Love the flavor off this guy. I mean, in my opinion, it's definitely one of the better RTAs out there. I'm not going to call it the best because you know how the vape industry is. I mean, wait a few weeks and something new is going to be out. But I do seem to be carrying this guy around a lot. That was the Sherman V3 RTA. Oh, see, check that shit out. Wicking like a champ. Yeah. So I bought this guy from David Gunn. He's on the Modfather family on Facebook. I will post his name and the name of that Facebook page onto the description below. Yeah, totally recommend these guys, man. Totally worth it. And I will say the machining on these things is immaculate. Really, really clean threads all across the board. Top cap, chimneys, deck, 510 thread. Awesome all across the board. I think they're worth the money. They are expensive, but I think it's worth it. Thanks again for watching, guys. And by the way, if you have made it all the way through the video, it is my birthday today. So thanks for watching my birthday video. I will see you guys in my next review. See ya.